Yo, 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 yo. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. A few more days, guys. A few more days to the NFL draft. And I can't wait to see how all this unfolds. We have some news on the Jalen Hurts press conference and obviously the big contract extension that he had. And I want to take a few points from it and some of my own opinions on it. Going through some of the recent rumors, all really Eagles trade backs, trade ups, what could happen, what can happen. Somebody put some ideas on Twitter. I kind of want to go over all that stuff and have my take on it, and some Bijan Robinson news that the league doesn't want Bijan Robinson to get drafted to Philadelphia. So we're going to all that type of stuff, and let's get straight into it.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, 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 what is going on, guys? Hope it's having a fantastic day. So to start off everything for today with Jalen Hurts' press conference, it was great. It was really nice. We haven't talked to Jalen Hurts we haven't heard him, talk in a while. He's been working out this offseason like crazy. And, I have to say, we are very lucky to have a quarterback like this. Jalen Hurts mentioned even, the most surprising thing happened in Philadelphia 3 years ago when the Eagles picked him in the second round. And no one really had the thought that he would really do much of anything. Maybe there were fans that followed him his whole career that, were really excited about it. But on top of everything else, we were paying a franchise quarterback at the time. And getting a quarterback in the second round was very big question mark. It wasn't question mark about the player. It was more question mark about, maybe you could have got Jalen Hurts in the later rounds. But obviously that turned into a big gift for us, and it's a blessing in disguise at the end of the day. I mean, Jalen Hurts talked about, just the money in general, and the money is nice, but championships are better. And which that quote right there really tells you, why he didn't want an all guaranteed contract, because this takes a quote unquote village to really strive to be successful as a team. It's a team game at the end of the day. In his point of view of getting paid as a quarterback, you get paid obviously, which is great. You know what I mean? He got his money. He got $51 million a year. Okay. So it's not like he took a pay cut or anything like that, but Howie Roseman really, obviously he has a lot of incentives. He could have took a more guaranteed contract and really strangled this team for all it really had. I mean, he could have been a vampire and sucked the money out of this whole entire team, where, when you get a full guaranteed contract like some of these other quarterbacks are getting, you really can't make any moves. It really it hurts your team a lot. And, Hurts wanted to get paid and obviously prove himself on more money if he could do that in 5 years with more incentives. And, I think he'll do that. I think he'll make more money within the next 5 years, more than the 51 he's getting now a year. He's basing his contract off of, not only is it cap friendly because the cap hits Howie Roseman does make, but not strangling this team for more money is definitely an important thing. And, there's quarterbacks out there that don't give a crap, guys. They may seem like to the public they care about the team, but really want to take care of themselves first with one of those high guaranteed, all guaranteed contracts. And this isn't what we're talking about with Jalen Hurts. This is a totally selfless human being that wants the team to do better over him. Obviously, he strives to be better every single day and talks about himself being a better version of himself every single day and working his tail off. And I got to say, man, I take a lot more into what he does off the field. I take a lot more into how he carries himself as a human being. He's not any trouble. He's not flashy. He's not, you know what I mean? He's a very good individual, and I think we all have to respect that. We don't have a guy that's not cocky but very confident and really gravitates players towards him. And I think we have to feel very lucky and it's a blessing to have him on this team. I mean, to find a quarterback this young with a mindset of his standard, it's really hard to find out there. You might see quarterbacks that, will say that, they could say what Jalen Hurts says about being, the team, and it's all about the team and all about this. And, he says all these crazy quotes that are really cool. And, you find quarterbacks that say stuff like that, but proving it out on the field is a totally different thing. And I think Hurts has proved it on the field, off the field, how he carries himself, and players want to play with him. Players want to win with him. And I think that's the most important thing. Obviously, it starts with Nick Sirianni because he created this culture. He created this culture for the Philadelphia Eagles, and Nick Sirianni got here, and loved Jalen Hurts, and let his personality show and let him play to his full ability. And obviously there's a lot to thank. Brian Johnson has done a good job with him. Obviously his off-season trainers, and Shane Steichen did a really good job with him too. I think was definitely a beneficial piece to Jalen Hurts and what he could do out there. So I kind of just want to go over that really quick. I mean, really nothing much came out of it. Obviously Jalen Hurts is just, he's ready to go. He's ready to play. He's ready to get this thing started. And most importantly, like I said, what he said in this press conference was more about, why he didn't want that fully guaranteed contract. It takes a team to get this done, and to strangle the team for more money makes really no sense. And these other quarterbacks do it. They want to win so bad, but they get these full guaranteed deals. And Jalen Hurts is the highest paid quarterback right now, but he won't be once Joe Burrow and Herbert. Some of these other guys are going to get contracts. He won't be the highest paid quarterback this year. I mean, right now he is. So that's all I want to say. I'm very proud of him for what he's done the past 3 years. And, I think, I've never felt so respectful towards a quarter. I don't know. He just carries himself so well, and he's just so mature for his young age. And it's a really cool thing to see. He's not, he's just very confident in himself and confident in his teammates, and wants Howie Roseman to make more moves and give him more weapons and do whatever possibly needed every offseason for this team to make it better, to stay as a contender for years. And I think that's really important. So that's all I really want to say about the Jalen Hurts stuff. The press conference was really nice. And, I'm excited, man. It's a new era for Philadelphia, and we got the quarterback of the future. He's locked in. We don't got to worry about it anymore, and that's pretty much it. Now, there has been some other news on Bijan Robinson. Now, James Palmer from NFL Now, he was on NFL Now talking about Bijan Robinson. Now, this is what was said. This is what James said. He said, "I'll just say this. A couple NFC teams I've talked to this weekend do not want the Eagles to draft running back Bijan Robinson. The thought of that offense with this addition is scary in their eyes." My report on NFL Now on NFL Network. Yeah, it's crazy. There are probably teams. Now, is there a team that's just going to draft Bijan in spite of the Philadelphia Eagles? I don't know. But if Bijan does get to the Eagles at 10, it could be a problem for the whole NFC. And that's totally the truth, guys. I mean, we already talked about what Bijan would look like in a rotation. Just a rotation would be dangerous with Rashad Penny. I don't feel like Howie Roseman is comfortable with this running back core right now as it stands. To sign Rashad Penny, that only played 5 games last year, and has been sustaining injury after injury after injury, it's just getting to a point where, if he pans out, then great. If he doesn't, then we're going to be in a lot of trouble with this running back room. Even James Palmer even said on NFL Network that the Eagles still have a hole at running back, and maybe he knows something behind the scenes that we don't know. So teams are expecting the Eagles to draft Bijan. Maybe that's the case. We've already heard that the Atlanta Falcons at 8, a big rumor here, but it's been talked about a lot. The Atlanta Falcons could get a running back. Now, they have a couple running backs over there, but the Falcons are in rebuild mode right now. I mean, they still need offensive linemen, defensive line. I mean, they still need some pieces. Since running back the most important position, they need offensive linemen. I mean, I don't know. They definitely need more pieces. I don't get how Bijan would be their main focal point, being drafted inside the top 10 for them. Does it make any sense? I don't know. But that's been like the main rumor so far with it. I could feel like this is true. I feel like there are teams out there that don't want this to happen because they will be unstoppable with Bijan in the backfield. There's no doubt about it. Bijan will get most of the carries if he is in this offense. Obviously, on more of a rotation. There'll be less snaps he gets in other years. Probably next year he'll get a lot more because you're losing Scott, you're losing, Rashad Penny to free agency. Rashad Penny is most likely playing for himself on a new contract. The Eagles are definitely not re-signing him if he plays really well, but he's a low-risk, high-reward move. A lot of players that the Eagles have signed are low-risk, high-reward type moves this year, especially defensively. The offense, the Eagles have barely done nothing besides bringing Boston Scott back, which he just comes back every single year. You're talking Rashad Penny is the only move that they make offensively besides the wide receiver they got from the Falcons, as a, competition piece for Quez Watkins, or could be using him in this offense as a pure slot receiver. What other moves have they really made offensively? They haven't really done much of anything that guarantees that they are stabilizing that running back position, okay? They obviously brought in some guys. Boston Scott could play full-time at special teams, but nobody wants to see this happen. If Bijan gets to the Philadelphia Eagles, who knows? They might have to move up. I don't know. But I feel like there is a consensus here that, we're a big threat in the NFC this year. I mean, you look at it, it's pretty bad. I mean, other than outside the 49ers, once they figure out their quarterback situation, if they're trading Trey Lance or they're keeping, obviously Purdy coming off the elbow stuff going on with him. The NFC East should be a pretty good division this year. The Cowboys, Giants, Washington. I mean, Washington probably won't be as great, but I think there's still going to be a nice competition within the NFC East this year, and it's all about what the Eagles can get here. What do they think as the most impact player at 10, or if they move up, or if they stay or trade back, whatever the case may be here. I think, there's a lot of smoke screens going around with a lot of players. Bijan has always been the player that the Eagles are not going to have interested in, that they're not going towards that direction at running back, that maybe the Eagles don't think of Bijan Robinson as the third best player in the draft. The trend has been Jalen Carter. The trend has been trading back, or the trend has been staying there and getting an offensive lineman. That's pretty much what the trend has been this whole entire time. So this actually is pretty interesting. So kind of want to talk about that real quick. I mean, this was on TV. This was reported on national television. So it could really show me that Palmer knows a lot that's going on behind the scenes with teams and what they think the Eagles are going to draft this year. And Bijan might be that big surprise pick that nobody, that maybe a lot of GMs are maybe figuring they would, but they don't know if it's a smokescreen or not going in that position. So I don't know what's going to happen here. It's going to be really interesting going down the line with the Bijan stuff. So that's what's coming out on that. The last thing I want to go over is obviously some trade back. So the rumors, I want to go through kind of all the rumors. Now, Kendall Beck, he put some stuff online that I kind of want to go over, which are actually pretty interesting. Trade ups, trade backs, give my opinion on each thought of some of these, different moves the Eagles could make at the 10th overall pick to see what would happen here. Now, here are some of the things. So the first draft analysis of what the Eagles could do at 10 here. So the Eagles packaged 10 and 30 to move up to number 5 or number 6 and select Jalen Carter or Will Anderson if he drops. Now, I'm not moving inside the top 5 to go get Jalen Carter. It's going to cost way too much. Obviously, yeah, you're probably going to have to take both your first-round picks and move up. If I'm going to move into the top 5, I'm getting Will Anderson. I'm not even getting Jalen Carter at that point, okay? It's a waste of time. If I'm inside the top 5, if the Cardinals pass on Will Anderson or if they don't trade back that pick, and they don't pick him or he slides past 3, then yeah, this would make a lot of sense, but I'm not moving past 5 to get Jalen Carter. I mean, I think Seattle has serious interest. Even if they sign Jermont Jones in the offseason, they sign a big defensive tackle to big money, okay? So I don't think the Eagles go crazy like that, give up 2 of their first-round picks to move up in the top 5 unless they really want Will Anderson bad. I'm moving inside the top 5 to get Will Anderson, not Jalen Carter. That's number 1. Second analysis from the Eagles rumors. Okay, Eagles move back from 10 to 12 to 16. So they move back from 10 between the 12th and 16th pick and select either Nolan Smith, Miles Murphy, or Lucas Van Ness. Okay, and a trade out of number 30. So they trade back 2 times. Obviously, Van Ness. I want to stay away from Van Ness as early as possible. I wouldn't even draft Van Ness in the first round. Brian Barish, sure. If you want to go after Miles Murphy and trade back, totally fine with that. Nolan Smith, maybe the early 20s. I wouldn't draft Nolan Smith in the mid-teens. So I definitely don't agree on that whatsoever. Trade out of the top 30. They trade out of the 30th pick, they could do that just because they need some extra picks. They could get an extra second-round pick. So if they want 2 second-round picks, definitely can go, trade back a little bit there. Maybe they want to get an extra 4th because the Eagles don't have an extra 4th, 5th, 6th-round pick this year. They got, I think, 2 7ths. They have obviously 2 1st, a 2nd, a 3rd, and 2 7ths. That's it. You know what I mean? That's all the picks that they have right now. So I'm trading down a lot further for Nolan Smith. I'm trading down a lot further for Lucas Van Ness. I might not even draft Lucas Van Ness in the first round. Miles Murphy, sure. I'm totally fine with that. If they want to get the kid that they really want and Adebawore from Northwestern defensive end, I think he's great because he can play both techniques on the defensive line, and I think they can use him really well. I think that's a player that they really do like. I would definitely get him in the mid-teens if they actually moved back a little bit. I think I would get Adebawore from Northwestern if that's where they really wanted to go. So we'll see what happens. Now, we already talked about this. The Falcons could have a lot of interest in Bijan Robinson at 8. So I don't think the Eagles will trade up for a running back. We'll see. They might sit there at 10 to see if he falls, and if he doesn't, they might just sit there and get an offensive lineman, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I understand why they're doing it, or they trade back for another player, most likely. So Falcons for Bijan Robinson, we'll see. Now there's reports coming out that the Jackson Smith JSN report on the Ohio State wide receiver, that the Eagles are doing some of their homework on him right now. They think that's a pure smokescreen for the Eagles. Why are they getting a first-round receiver? I would kind of be surprised with it. I made a video on it the other day. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it gives Jalen Hurts another weapon. I mean, they're keeping Quez. They signed that Falcons wide receiver as a competition for him. So are they going to add a first-round wide receiver on top of that? I don't know. The signs are kind of telling me that they're not going to do this. This is most likely a smokescreen from the Philadelphia Eagles to make it seem like, well, maybe they have interest in another weapon for Jalen Hurts, but not at wide receiver, though. So, we'll see what happens here, but that's pretty much about it. I'm sitting at 10 regardless to see if I would move up for Jalen Carter between 6 to 8. I would move up for Will Anderson inside the top 5. If you have to give up those 2 first-rounders, then yeah, I guess that's what they do. If that's the plan that they're trying to go for, which I don't think they're moving up for Will Anderson. I think Jalen Carter they move up for, and if it's going to be too expensive or they feel like they're just not going to reach for him and they feel like Bijan is a lot higher on their draft board, they draft him at 10. Now, if Bijan is gone, if all 3 of the top 3 players are gone, is JSN from Ohio State the 4th best player in this draft, and would they actually take him? If not, they stay at 10, get an offensive lineman. If not that, they trade back, maybe to the mid-teens, maybe to the early 20s, and they go get Nolan Smith. Maybe they go get Miles Murphy. Maybe they get that Adebawore from Northwestern. It really just depends. You know what I mean? Like I said, this is a big question mark. No idea what's going on. These are just opinions. These are just rumors. Could be a lot of smoke screens here because you can't believe everything you read either. But just to go through all of these, it's obviously really interesting. We'll see. I mean, this is what the draft is all about. The excitement of, we don't know what the Eagles are going to do. 2 first-round picks, and you might not have the 10th overall pick. They want, in a long time. They're not going to have a 10th overall pick next year, the year after. This is going to be a trade that they want to get. I think they're treating this 10th overall pick as a luxury. I think they want to get an impact player. Who's more of an impact player between Jalen Carter and Bijan Robinson? I think it's going to be Bijan. Who's not saying that impact as in they're not going to start. I think because Bijan Robinson will have more success, easily, major impact immediately, because the offense is more set than this defense. Okay, I think Bijan, obviously, as a runner than Jalen Carter as a defensive tackle. I feel like Bijan will have the more success, the more impact day one with the Philadelphia Eagles. Not saying that Jalen Carter is a bad player or anything like that. I would still take Jalen Carter. If Jalen Carter and Bijan are there at 10, I'm taking Jalen Carter. At the end of the day, as much as it's going to hurt me, I would still take Jalen Carter at 10 regardless, if both players are there. So More impact, it's Bijan. It's 100%. I know I've been pissing people off. I know I've been making people angry, and that's just my guy at the end of the day. If they don't go Bijan, they go Jalen Carter, they go somebody else. I have no issue with it. It's going to make our team better at the end of the day. But I feel like 2 offensive players are going to be taken with the first 3 picks. I feel like they're going to get a weapon, whether it's a backup tight end, whether it's a wide receiver, or it's going to be a running back for the Philadelphia Eagles. And obviously you have to take in offensive line as well. But do they count an offensive lineman at 10 as impact? Do they want to overreach? You have a good offensive line coach. Do you really have to overreach for a lineman at 10? I don't know. I don't think you need to do that this year because, hey, look, if Cam Jurgens is not going to start this year, if they have no faith in Cam Jurgens playing guard, then that's going to be impact to go get a guy to play immediately at 10. Then that will make more sense. If Cam Jurgens is starting, if you want to go get a Paris Johnson, move back a couple spots, get Paris Johnson, that's perfectly fine because they can kick him into guard and they can move him to right tackle, kick him into right tackle once Lane Johnson's gone. If you want Skoronski, obviously will get kicked in the guard most likely. He will not be a tackle in the NFL. If you want to get an Osiris Torrance with the second first rounder. But I feel most likely they will trade back with the 30th more than the 10th. I feel like they'll try to get an extra second-round pick, an early one, hopefully, which will definitely help them. If they were able to get 2 second-round players, that's great. You know what I mean? So there'll be a team that wants to trade up and try to get somebody at 30. I feel like the Eagles will more likely trade back at 30 than they will trade back at 10. Because I feel like that board is going to fall. We don't know what teams are going to move into the top 10 to get quarterbacks. This top 10 mess. We're on the line at 10 looking inside all these teams right now, and there could be a big battle for quarterbacks going on. So you don't know what teams. You heard Titans might be moving up. You heard maybe the Patriots could be moving up because Mac Jones is apparently on the trade block. I don't know what's going on with that. You never know what could happen here. But the Eagles, if they want a certain player and they want to kind of move back a couple spots and still think they get the player that they want, they got to be careful. If it's Bijan, obviously Tampa Bay had a pre-draft meeting with him, so they have to be careful with Tampa Bay moving up. They have to be careful with some of these teams trying to move up in front of the Eagles to go get him. So like I said, these are the options that you have here, and we'll see what happens. We have a few more days. That's it. It is time. This is draft week. We're ready to go. So the channel is going to be really busy. So if you lasted this long in the video, I appreciate everybody being here watching. Make sure you subscribe to the video. Make sure you like the video as well for more content, and it does help out the channel a lot. So if you guys are ready for the draft, tell me who would you draft? What would you do at 10? What would you do at 30? Just let me know. And let me know what you guys think about the Jalen Hurts press conference and what you expect from Jalen Hurts the next 5 years and all that great stuff. And obviously the Bijan news that teams do not want. A couple GMs, do not want this to happen for the Eagles to draft Bijan Robinson, that it would be the most dangerous move for other teams to let this thing go on and let them get that much better. And the Eagles will be a whole lot better with Bijan Robinson, let me tell you. So you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes it up, follow slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.